Alrighty. 3, 2, and 1.
Hey everyone, welcome to another week of And We're Live. You have to do it with the Bob Fosse hands or it just doesn't feel the same. But I don't know if Curtis agrees, but I agree. My
I
name
do
is,
agree.
you do agree?
I do.
Thank you. So next time you can do it.
Crickets.
You're going to do it next time. My name is Tachi. My name is Tachi. Oh, and I'm getting echoes. Sorry, guys. I don't know why I'm getting echoes, but I think I do know. There we go. Facebook was echoing back for me. So, all right, Curtis, how are you?
I'm doing well, Dr. Chachi.
Did you say you're doing well?
I am. I'm doing well. I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
You sound fantastic. I'm doing quite well. This is everybody's favorite show that talks all about live streaming. We are here to make you not only excited about live streaming and excited to do it, but how to. So this is the how to for video content creators and for people who do live streaming. So my name is Tachi, and I'm joined here by,
Curtis.
wow,
Brooks.
you don't remember your name?
Yeah, I've got other stuff going on here too.
Okay. But it's
bubble
so much that you can't remember your name.
Right.
Okay. And I see a couple of people coming in. Tish Rosales, how are you? Thank you so much for being here on the Periscope side. We're also, so we are live on Periscope, on which is also Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn Live, and also on YouTube. So we're all over the place, guys.
We are.
Yeah, we are everywhere. So thank you so much for being here. Yay. All right, so today let's get to it. Let me see if I can hook up with some of the other people. Okay, everybody's good. Everybody's here. So let's talk. Today is interesting because we're actually going to talk about choosing a platform. And I know it can be a daunting task when you say, all right, I have something to say. I want to live stream it. Where do I live stream it to? Can I live stream it to more than one? So that's actually what we're going to talk about today. Yes, Curtis?
It is, and I think that that is probably one of the, other than the getting the live streaming piece down, but that is probably one of the biggest challenges that people are having, is trying to figure out which platform is best suited for what they're trying to do or accomplish.
I agree. And you do have to pay attention to it.
Absolutely.
It's like just posting things. And think about social media. If you're trying to reach millennials, for example, it probably doesn't do any good to post in certain places, but in other places there are more millennials, so it makes sense. So you think about that the same way with video, right? All these social platforms also have video platforms. Well, most of them have live video platforms, but they all have the ability for you to post video as well.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, where you broadcast determines what platform you use.
It does.
For the most part.
It does. It really does. Because I think it's really having a strategy, though, isn't it?
It is having a strategy. It absolutely is having a strategy. Part of your strategy is understanding what platforms are resonating with what group of people and then putting your things there. Now, that doesn't mean don't try other platforms. That is not what we're saying, and I will deny knowing you if you say Tachi and Curtis said don't try any other platforms, because that's not what we said. You don't listen. What we're saying is that there are certain platforms that resonate with certain audiences, and if you have a message that resonates to that audience on the platform, that's where you should really look first, right? Absolutely. So go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think when we go at trying to find the proper platform in a different way, or at least in a way where we've got something to say and we just kind of just without doing the homework, if you will. It's kind of like throwing a dart at trying to hit a bullseye or with a dart when you're blindfolded, and just not knowing.
Yes. I had to demonstrate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good job.
It was. Look, that
Ow.
was it.
But yes, it's important to again know why you're doing it and what platform is going to work best for you. So we're going to definitely explore that and give you some stats as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't we get started?
Yeah,
You
let's do
and you
that.
just kind of gave a good segue. So in addition to understanding your why, which is something that we talked about at the very
Yes,
beginning,
yes,
before you even start to broadcast, you have to understand why you're broadcasting or what your purpose is. So your
yes,
purpose is your why. So in addition to understanding your why and understanding your purpose for broadcasting, you have to understand who that message is for. So you
absolutely,
know why you want to broadcast, but who is that message for?
absolutely.
Right? Right? And guess who joined us on LinkedIn? Camille Anderson, PhD.
Hey, Kami.
Hey,
Hey,
welcome. Thank you for being here. We're talking live streaming. So thank you so much for being here. So you have to understand who your audience is, your why, but then who your audience is and is your message suited to the audience that you're going after? You have to understand that as well. So you may have
absolutely.
several publics, as we call them, several audiences or several publics who this message is tailored for. And
Right.
that's fine. But you have to understand and know that.
And and it's interesting too because you have to have I guess this is what you're saying is that you have to have several, I guess, a couple different faces that you're going to share with the audience because you may speak one way to a certain audience and yet speak a completely different way to yet another audience.
Wow. So you just brought up something really interesting. It's not called two-facedness, ladies
Well,
and gentlemen. I said it,
for
but
lack of a better, just
yeah, but there is a term for it. It's called code switching, where you
okay,
speak one way with
right.
one group of people and then speak another way with another group of people. There are
Gotcha,
many of
gotcha.
us that code switch in everyday
Absolutely.
life, right? So there's one
Absolutely.
way that you speak at work and another
Sure.
way that you speak when you're around friends and family.
Right, right.
That's
Absolutely.
code switching. But that's the same thing. What you said
Mhm.
is actually code switching. So your same message wrapped the same way, delivered the same way,
Yeah,
may not work for every audience. And you have to
absolutely.
realize that.
Absolutely.
So, as such, you need to be able to code switch. If you've never heard
Absolutely.
that term before, code switch. And Khamid
Absolutely.
says, knowing who you are, knowing who you're talking to is critical. My LI face gets different. Oh, Language
Okay.
Institute face gets different language from my Facebook and IG posts. Yes, absolutely. So you're already doing the code switch shuffle. And how would you not? You went
Mhm.
to Howard University. This is
Yeah.
what we were taught. The beauty of code switching, right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's called the duality of language, but
Yes, yes.
code switching definitely. So this is what you have to do in terms of this. So Mr. Mack, welcome on. Oh, no problem. Welcome on Periscope, and Yolanda Dryerbuzz, welcome on Periscope. And Gracie also says, says, I didn't know about Curtis Brooks Media Productions and shares from there. They were looking for it on Mediascope. So yes, guys, what we broadcast on, well, I could also actually share it to Mediascope. The thing is,
Yeah.
I just share it to so many places
Right,
and
right.
I forget about the Mediascope page. So I share it to my personal Facebook, but I will share it to Mediascope also. Perhaps when you're talking, so I'm not distracted, I'll
Yeah, it's a
share
good
it to
idea.
Mediascope. Very good idea. So they can see what we do. So absolutely, Camille, knowing who you are is critical. And she says, I've been doing the code switch shuffle 43 years. Yeah, I
Yes,
think
yes.
if you are if you are a person in America, you need to
Yes,
know how to code switch. And
absolutely.
it doesn't matter who you are,
Absolutely.
everybody needs to know how to code
Yeah,
switch.
I don't know why I find that funny, but yeah, that's the truth though.
The
Yeah.
code switch shuffle.
Absolutely.
That is exactly what it is. So we're going to talk about that. So you brought that up. That's an excellent point, Curtis. So here, let's talk about some. Today, we're going to talk about 3 platforms. There are so many more, and we're going to go through them,
Right.
but we really only have time for 3 today. And you all in the audience, I know many of you are live streamers. I'd love for you to jump in and talk about your experiences with it, what you know about it. It is great because this is a conversation. It's not us talking at you. We want to speak
Right.
with you, okay? So it's a conversation, which is what public speaking is. We always teach it as an enlarged conversation. This is a conversation. Okay, so besides knowing who your message is for, now you're trying to pick your platform. as I said, there are several different things you could do. You don't have to do just one. But when you're starting out, you may want to start on one and master that. Because if you don't understand what the audiences are like on that particular platform, you're going to lose them. Your message may not resonate with them.
Right.
Which is why, going back to earlier, sitting, and we're going to talk about this at the end again, if you watch and see what's going on, if you go into other people's streams, you're going to get a pretty good sense of what audiences are like on that platform.
Yes.
Not entirely, but you're going to get some semblance of what an audience is like on a Periscope, on an Instagram Live, who they are. And if you never sat and watched and just decided, I'm just going to go live, which is okay too, I'm not downing you for that, but you miss critical information when you don't listen.
But you know, here's the thing too. How many people are actually doing it before they will put the headphones on or set the microphone up or their camera? How many people are actually viewing other people's live streams and or at least in preparation for something that they want to do or desiring to do?
There are some people that do. I know that my first media scoper ever, the first person that ever watched me, David, he says that I was the inspiration for him to start live streaming. So he had watched me for some time before, and he is fantastic. Absolutely. He is fabulous. He is really, really good. But he said that gave him the motivation. Watching me gave him the motivation to do it. And Camille also says that she did. Yolanda, I know you probably did, as did you, Tish, sat and watched people before you actually went live. Melvin Lars says hello to both of us. Hey, Melvin. So, but there are some people, and you can tell from their streams that they watched nobody and listened to no one. Okay. I don't think yes, exactly. I think that this is not the game for your ego to get involved. Even, I don't care if you've been teaching. Look, before I went live, I had been teaching public speaking. So let's see. I started teaching public speaking in 2001, and I went live in 2015. So for 14 years, I had experience before I even went live. So if the person with experience and actually knows and understands the theory behind public speaking and making presentations, waited and watched, Sam the Baker man. Can,
so that's like if Jesus needed to take a break.
Wait, what about Jesus? See, you're not going to have me struck down. You're trying to make that hurricane come this way, and I'm not. Send it to Dallas, Texas, Lord, please.
No, I'm joking.
Please. So, but the point is that you have to. You have to watch and listen. Tribus says 20 years streaming, few to watch. Well, yeah, and here's the thing. There are some people that are kind of pros that feel comfortable doing that, and I still submit to you that you still need to watch, because if you don't watch, you don't know what's out there, and you could be replicating the wheel of something that's already been being done, and you're wondering why it's not resonating with people. Well, because 17 other people are also doing this. 100 people are also doing this as well. And had you taken the time to sit and watch and learn, you would have seen, well, this is not my niche. there's something else I could do, or I can do this a little bit differently by tweaking it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's paramount. Just watching people, different live streams, and really no matter what part, what your career is or choices, it's always nice to watch people, see what they're doing, how you could do it different, how you could create a different workflow or make it faster for you, or just, just get to that end point or whatever that may be a little bit more smoother.
You can, Drybus says right, and Camille says exactly. You can always learn. There is always something to learn. And this is why I kind of have, even though, all of us in here, we're all experts in our respective fields, right? But I fall short of falling back on my expertise because of the fact, and I know people love the buzzword expert.
Absolutely.
People love it. So you go with
Yes.
what people love. However, often when people say expert, sometimes there's the tendency to think you don't need to know anything else. And you always need to learn. In this field right here, things
Yes.
change every 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
Every 5 minutes, there's a new piece of technology. Something is debuting. All you have to do is wait till September 10th with the Apple event. Okay, wait till the next big show. Everybody is creating all their technology now for the next big show, and that, bam, just like that, something shifts. There are constant paradigm shifts in this field, so you can't be an expert. I'm
Absolutely.
sorry. Even as much
Absolutely.
as you would like to be,
Remember,
call yourself that, but you're not. I'm just
remember
saying.
when Periscope debuted, and just
Oh,
what
I know
months
exactly
later,
what you're gonna say.
months later, everybody was like, how to Periscope like a champ,
Oh, and
how
I
to,
hate that. Who are you? But see, here's the thing. Everybody does that when there's something new because they want to be the first ones to ride the wave of the. But then here's the thing. What happens is you become, I could never say this saying right, a one-horse Charlie. What is it? One wagon,
a one trick
one
pony,
horse Charlie. Okay,
a one
that's
trick
it.
pony.
I like one horse Charlie.
No, one trick pony.
You'll become a one-horse Charlie. So, and all you become good for is, and we've seen this. We've seen these people fade away. The ones that are like, how to do this on Periscope, how to do this on Periscope, how to do that. When Periscope first debuted, everybody, like Curtis says, was an expert.
Absolutely.
But now they have since faded away because once people gain an understanding of how to use this, why the hell do I need you?
And I think Periscope, just like Facebook, is probably one of the easiest platforms to, especially if you're not using equipment.
It is. It is. It's easy. But see, I think what people wanted to know was monetization. And at that point, Periscope was not prepared and set up for monetization at all. So you had all these people, a lot of people cropped up, how to monetize Periscope, do this. And none of it was directly from the Periscope stream. Let's be clear on that. But that's honestly, when we talk about monetization, we're going to talk about that. Often it's not only from the stream, but again, it wasn't from the stream, but everybody for some reason thought they knew, and they would have like 400, 500 people, 1,000 people in their broadcast. And I said, well, good for you, boo-boo. Good for you.
Right. Hey, before we move further, Gail Taylor has a question over on Facebook. How does filtering work with Facebook Live? Should one consider creating separate Facebook account for a live stream Facebook Live?
That's a good question. And by filtering, I kind of need you to clarify. Are you talking about search and discovery or using hashtags to filter and so that people can find you? Please let me know specifically, and that way I can answer, or we can answer. Yeah? That's a good question, though, Gail.
Yeah, it's a great question. Great question.
And hey, Gail, sorry to say I didn't say hey, Gail on Facebook. And also, Daryl Hutton has joined us over on the Periscope side. Thank you. And then we still got, we've got a few people in LinkedIn, but Dr. Camille is a strong commenter in LinkedIn. All right, so let's move on. So let's talk about some of these different platforms. But that was a great piece of information to put out there.
Now, our first one is Facebook of the platforms. Why would someone want to choose Facebook over the other two that we're going to be discussing?
Don't know, but we're going to attempt to tell you why.
You don't know. We're in trouble.
Well, let's talk about some of the characteristics. So Facebook actually has 2.4 billion with a B users. Okay. And we were laughing yesterday as to, does that count the memorialized accounts? And if you don't tell Facebook that you want to memorialize the account, they don't know. So they probably do count in that number. So we don't know how many are live and how many are not. But
Facebook, I'm sure.
I'm sure, yeah. Well, it's to their advantage to count that.
Absolutely.
Count them at that number when the Saints go marching in. Anyway. Tish had something really interesting to say. And hey, Sab, 1908. Tish said, hashtag say what you mean. Hashtag mean what you say. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So 2.4 billion. And this was up. I just checked not too long ago, and it was 2.2 billion users. which in a way is interesting because they've had all these problems with the privacy. And that growth tells me that people really don't care about
Absolutely.
that. So, and it's not just Facebook. You don't see mass exodus. What is the plural of exodus? Is it exoduses or
Many
exoduses?
Many exits.
Many exits. You don't see mass exits. Or let's see, we don't see a mass exodus from any of these platforms anytime something goes wrong. So something goes wrong, we have a short memory and we move on. So, that's to say, don't let that affect you picking a particular platform, because chances are the bulk of the audience is not going to leave. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where it's just too big. I mean, even the government in itself doesn't know anything about this space where it's like any kind of control, if you will, any real control.
Yeah, well, it is too big. It is a big space, but that doesn't preclude you from leaving if you want to leave. But people just don't.
Yeah,
especially if you have a business, your stuff is tied to it.
Absolutely.
You don't feel like doing that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've gotten so many alerts, like from our credit reporting agencies. Oh, your information may have been compromised. I don't even respond anymore.
Because it has. Whatever. So what else is new?
Exactly.
What's that? The discovery of the century? I know. I know my ish is out there. I mean,
right. And I think people are feeling the same way with Facebook. As a reminder, your information has been compromised. Okay.
My thing is, as long as you don't try to start another account and my money is not
right.
That's how people are thinking about it, right?
Right. Is my money okay?
Exactly.
Is my check?
All right then. Then we're good. All right.
Right.
Just carry on as you were. So we know that it has such numbers, but here's the thing to think about. This is where you really have to understand what your topic is about and who you're speaking to, because Facebook skews older. If you are looking to market, for example, something to millennials, not that is not a place to have a live stream, right? Hence, do your advertising and boost that stream, but it is not your main place because it skews older. I would say, I need to look at the exact numbers, but I would say the heaviest users are Gen X, and Boomers. You may get some from the silent generation that use it, but Gen X and Boomers are the predominant users. Now, you do have other generations that use it, but not as much as Gen X and Boomers. And so, again, if those are people outside of your target, it may not be to your advantage to do that. Especially, you're trying to do something with kids.
Right.
Or something for kids.
Right.
You're not going to find them there.
Yeah. But like you said earlier, it does not mean that you don't post something or put some kind of advertising or just just establish your presence on a certain platform, even if it does not fit your target audience.
Right. Or even to share the stream there. Like when we talk about using an encoder, it doesn't preclude you from streaming anywhere. It's just something to think about, that you're going to notice this in terms of your numbers and in terms of your audience. And Levok is here. Hello, Levok. Welcome.
Hey, Levok.
So it doesn't preclude you from doing that. Just know that your main audience is going to be where your audience lives. The main audience for your stuff is where your audience lives, the platform that they live on. Okay. So people always ask all the time, what is the best platform? My answer is always wherever your audience lives.
Right. And I think even finding your audience, again, there's work in that first.
Oh,
as far as discovering who your audience is, and at that point you should have your message together, but you may have to tweak your message for that audience, because your audience may not necessarily be able to handle your message in the way that you may deliver it. So it may take some time to get to that space or that place where you're delivering that message. You got to choose the right buzzwords, because people are hearing things. They're seeing you on your first time or second, third time on your live stream. You got to kind of, again, plug that live stream or your conversation with buzzwords that's going to provoke their interest.
Very good. Floyd Cowens. Sorry, Cohen's. I would say it wrong. Floyd, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for being here. Gail Taylor, so she's revised her question. She says, so I think what I'm asking is, I do live streams, but not all of my friends may be interested in my content. I also do Periscope and sometimes find I get a larger audience. So I'm struggling with how to appeal to my two audiences. So that's a great question. Again, I think it depends on what your content is. And that's just, okay, so before let's table this. When we talk about Periscope, we'll come back to that because it also has to do with numbers, okay? So it's not just you, if you notice but sometimes it's the other way around. Periscope started first. So if you've managed to build an audience on Periscope and they're still there, chances are sometimes you may have a larger audience on Periscope than on Facebook simply because Facebook came after. I started streaming on Facebook after because I was on Meerkat and Periscope at the same time. Meerkat went by and then I was on, Periscope. So let's take, when we talk about Periscope, let's come back to your question, Gail. Hopefully that's fine. And Faraz, welcome, United for Life. Good to see you on Facebook. All right. So, sorry, not Facebook, Periscope. So many platforms. So little time. All right. So it skews older, as I said. Facebook skews older, so you need to really be aware of that when you're putting something out there that it skews older. The good thing about Facebook is that without using an encoder or third-party software, you can actually bring in a guest. So if you decide you want to have a conversation and you're doing some sort of show and you have a guest, you can bring in a guest. They just have to request. You can tell them to request. It works best, and I know Yolanda does this a lot. It works best if both of your phones are landscape. And by landscape, this way, as opposed to vertical mode or portrait mode as it's called, but this is actually vertical video. So it works best if it is like this, okay? Please excuse my torn up phone.
Now, the live streamer needs to have their phone in the landscape mode and then both parties, correct?
Well, here's the thing. The other party can have it in the other mode. And that's okay. But it works best if both are in landscape because here's what happens. If you have it in portrait, when the person calls in and you both are in portrait, it ends up like picture in a picture. So you've got you really large and then the guest really small. So it's best to use it in landscape mode if you're going to have a guest call in, right? The other cool thing about Facebook is you don't even have to stream with your face. They do have the advantage of audio. So audio only, and that's something that is a choice I don't know on you are Apple, you're iOS, but I'm Android. So ours is at the bottom of the screen before you go live when you're getting ready at the bottom of the screen. And I'm sure it's the same way on iOS. You can select and you'll see the the audio only. So if you're camera shy and you want to get your message out there, you can choose to go audio only.
Right.
Yeah. So that is an advantage of that as well.
Now there are disadvantages as well, correct?
Yes.
As far as the Facebook.
There are always disadvantages besides privacy, which is a whole other conversation. But we've just debunked the whole privacy. We've thrown privacy out the window, so forget about privacy. Okay. If you're on here, there's no more privacy for you. Okay. If you're on any of these platforms. So here's the thing. And this is not just Facebook. This is on all platforms. Organic reach is not anymore. Organic reach has a certain amount of reach. But really, the best strategy, if you really want for people to see these things, is that you have to boost or promote these things. Unfortunately. So that only works like on a Facebook or an Instagram, right? In terms of boosting those things. Although you could do Twitter ads, etc., which can include video. But in terms of something that's a little longer that you would do like on a Instagram Live or a Facebook Live, they're going to want you to boost. So the good thing is you can work on building your audience so that that's not something that you always have to worry about. But if you want to get it in front of more people, because it's an important topic and you're trying to build your audience, you're trying to to get people to go to your page and get notifications when you go live for Facebook, what you have to do is really, after the broadcast is over, boost that.
Right.
Boost that particular broadcast, and that puts it in front of more people. Facebook is not playing. They want you to pay to play.
Yeah, and that's the term that they use in this space, is pay to play, whether it be live stream video or marketing or on any level. It's just essentially pay to play.
Yes,
And,
exactly.
yeah.
Tish, whose profile are you looking for? I can't tell, so let me know, and I'll say that. Levock is saying don't plug Facebook. We're not plugging them. We're simply telling you, giving you the information so you can make an informed decision. Okay. Also, here's the thing. Search and discovery is deplorable on Facebook. So
Right.
if there are people that are probably live right now, and I would be none the wiser because they're not in my network. I'm not friended. I don't like their page. So the one way that you can find out who's live at any time, if you go to facebook.com/live map, you can see who's live at any one time. But I don't think it picks up everyone that's live.
Right. Absolutely.
That's the thing. So search and discovery is terrible on there. So if you're looking to get found organically, yeah, don't.
Well, and also, in a lot of cases, that even if you are friends with that, someone or connected with them on Facebook, because Facebook has made so many different changes, and through their algorithm, it is they've kind of limited your reach to your friends as well. So your friends may not even know that you're on. So you've got to go through the process. Within Facebook, there's a notification. There's a drop-down menu on your main page. So if you are connecting with someone and they do a live stream, it gives you the option to receive notifications, or I think one other option, or receive all notifications, or receive limited notifications, some sort. But my point is that it is strictly pay to play, and there used to be at a time where you had a much broader reach, much greater reach by asking people to share. But now that's just not even like a 25% of that, I think.
Right. They're doing this so they could give you any cock and bull story about why they're doing this. Oh, to make connections with your network tighter.
I remember that.
Rubbish.
Yes,
that is
absolutely.
not why bullocks. That is not why
Absolutely.
you're doing it. You're doing it because you really want for people to buy ads to boost their stuff. Now, again, you can't really boost on a profile page. That comes from a business page or a fan page, etc. If you're streaming from there. But that's what they want you to do. So share as you might, unless you're somebody that already has a lot of notoriety that people are going to be looking for in terms of streaming. And another thing with this is, if you're consistent in terms of streaming, same bat time, same bat channel every week or however often you do it, people are going to be looking for you. Dare I not come on for Mediascope? I get all sorts of comments in my inbox like, I'm sorry, you were where? This is why I always have to put something up on social media to let you know if I can't come on for some reason, because I've built that consistency. So another way in terms of, growing your audience and stuff to avoid the pay to play thing somewhat is consistency, because then people will know where to look for you all the time, right?
Now,
and then go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off. You bring up a good question too, is that which is better to go live from, your personal page or your business page?
Oh, okay. Say this again. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying that when you were speaking earlier, you mentioned about your personal page or your business page. I'm saying about boosting. So which is better to go live from, is your personal page or your business page?
If it's about business, this is what you need to do, because I was torn for a long time.
Right.
Before I started a Mediascope page, I had my personal page, and that's where I went live from. That's where the majority of people were. And I was worried at first that it was going to be a problem when I switched to streaming from Mediascope. And we did that because in order to have Curtis as my producer, we needed to have a page so that he could have access as well. So what I ended up doing is that, I take the time and I share it to my personal page. All you have to do is, just click share and hit to your timeline. So I share it to my timeline so people will see that I'm live on my personal page, and then the people who go to Mediascope will see it from there. It's one stream. So just share it to your personal profile.
Yeah, and Gail says, Gail Taylor over on Facebook says this is what she's talking about in regards to which is better. I'm assuming that's what she's saying, which is better from your private page or your.
Okay, so this is what you're talking about. Okay, in terms of and yours is still a little different. If this is what you meant, then this is great. But yours is still a little different, it seems, because you're talking about two different audiences. Two different audiences.
Right.
So you cannot share from Actually, you can share your Periscope to Facebook. You can. So all you have to do is on Periscope, click share, and you have options for Periscope. Twitter, if it should automatically share if you have that option clicked, so that you can share to Facebook from there.
Yeah, but
it's not.
It's not going to be the same. You might get like two people seeing especially if you're sharing from Periscope from different platforms to a Facebook. Yeah, Facebook they don't. Yeah.
And let's talk about this.
Yeah, right.
Facebook and all platforms favor native content.
Sure.
So if you're sharing and you're like, hey, come to we've all seen this. We've all shared projects we've done on something else. People are lazy. Even if it's one click, forget the fact that you're already on modern technology and we don't have to haul water in a bucket up the hill 7 miles anymore. Now all I have to do is click. That's too much for me. Click and leave the app. No, ma'am. They're not going to do it. So the best thing is always to share and do things natively, right? Which is, when we talk about encoders, that is something that is still very easy to do.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So we talked about organic reach being kind of iffy nowadays, that you need to, if you want to boost it on Facebook, and there's no boosting on Periscope, Facebook and Instagram. When you do the ads, and this is a whole other thing with Facebook ads, your ads will get you real estate on Instagram as well. However, those are for shorter ads. So you're not going to be able, if you're doing for Mediascope, that's usually an hour long. I can't boost that whole thing to Instagram. It's too long. Okay, that's for shorter video, shorter posts. Okay. So keep that in mind as well when it comes to that. So that's the thing. Those are the pros and the cons with Facebook. Anything else you want to add, my friend?
No, I'm good. Good job. I'm looking at the comments too as well.
Okay, great. He's a good job. Thank you. Anyway, all right. So let's move on. So the next thing is IG, which is Instagram, and we kind of covered that. Now, Instagram has 1 billion monthly active users and 500 million daily active users. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Instagram skews young. So there are older users on Instagram, obviously, but a large percentage skew young in that late Gen X, millennial, early millennial thing. And then, of course, we've got Gen Z, who's after the millennials, and Gen Alpha, they're still too young a little bit for Instagram. The oldest of them is 9 years old now. So they're a little too young for that.
Well, didn't Facebook have something that, or I guess in the works for some kind
Facebook
of
Kids?
Yeah, kid-friendly Facebook.
They shut up about that real quick because, I mean, you have privacy problem, but now you want to market to kids?
Yes.
Sit down. Go sit down somewhere. Yeah, no, that I don't know what they've done with it, but it's not anything that I've seen a lot on, to be honest. So it's great engagement for millennials and Gen Z. In terms of streaming, now your options are to stream to IG Live, right? So you've got Instagram Live. All you have to do is go to, as if you're going to make a post, right? And you slide right. And the live option should be there. So rather than just taking a regular photo or video, like for your stories, you would go click live or hit live. If you slide, you can also go get to the live as well. And so that allows you to go live from IG. Now, be quiet, Levi. We're giving options. We are not plugging. This is what you can do. So if you want to go live, here's the thing. You are limited in terms of orientation. It favors vertical video, right? You can turn it to the side, but the comments do not also turn to the side like they do on Facebook Live and Periscope. So you have to keep it vertical if you want to, get comments and stuff. And most people don't want to turn their phones and get comments going to the left. It's
Right.
strange. So keep it vertical. Okay. Hi, One Love Team Eats. How are you? Welcome. Chosen Mogul, welcome. Thank you for being here on Periscope. Okay, so that's the thing you could do. In terms of the time limit, you do have a time limit. There's a 2-hour time limit with IG Live. So the moment you go over 2 hours, it stops, but you could always start it back up again if it's a conversation that warrants that. My thing, try not to make it go over the time limit, because that they're basically saying you don't have to go home, but you have to get the hell out of here. So so think about that. So you've got a 2-hour time limit. Also, you can bring in guests. Okay. So it allows you to bring in guests. They could request to be guests on your broadcast, and you could bring in guests that way. Now, what it will do is it will have one person at the top and one person at the bottom. Okay, so it's a vertical split screen. Why Facebook doesn't do that, I don't know. But because it's the same company, but it is a vertical split screen that you will have if you have a guest on there. So it allows you to do that. You can share, you can save the broadcast, obviously, right? You would want to save that right away because it will disappear after 24 hours. That's a downside to IG Live. Now, it may not be a downside if you're doing something like a training and you're like today only and it's going to disappear after 24 hours. So it may not be a downside to you, but you can store it if you like. You could save it to your device because it will give you that option after you stop. And then you can also share it to, help me, the bubbles. I know the technical name for it, but I can't remember it now.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't. It will come back to me. But the bubbles at the bottom on your IG profile, you can save it in one of those, and it will live on in infamy if you like. Anything else to say? Go ahead.
No, I don't stream to Instagram, but
Okay, thank you. You're very helpful. So we're going to keep going, though. Titles and hashtags. The nice thing about that, hashtags really don't mean jack on Facebook. So even though you could put them in, they don't really mean a whole lot of anything because people are not searching for things in most cases by hashtags, right? They do some keyword stuff with the videos, but not hashtags. But hashtags, Twitter really invented the hashtag thing, but Instagram took it and ran. What else is new? So you could use hashtags. You can title if you're going live natively. All what we're talking about today is going live natively to the app. If you go live natively to Instagram, you can put in a title and you can include hashtags. And the hashtags are useful because people can find you later on.
Now, for the hashtags, are they more, I guess, discoverable over on Instagram as opposed to Facebook?
Yes. Okay. Hashtags work very well
on Instagram. Okay.
Extremely well on Instagram. Okay. On Facebook, it like almost doesn't matter. So
right.
Almost doesn't matter. So Gail Taylor says, I did not know I could live stream from a pro account or whether I only had the opportunity to live stream from my personal account, if that makes sense. Yes. Okay, I get it now. Yes, you can live stream from your on Facebook. You can live stream from a page. You can also live stream in an event as well.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So and then you can live stream from your personal page. However, if this is something that is business related, I would definitely live stream from your page and share it to your personal if that is appropriate. You also have to think about how you set up your personal. Now, if you've been live streaming from your personal, people already expect that. So it's fine to then share that to your page. But if you've set up your personal in such a way that it is really, truly personal, then to start infusing some business things in there is okay, but I wouldn't do too much because it can turn folks off. It's because you've set up your space in a certain way. So just think about that. It depends on what you're doing on your personal page. If you're already broadcasting on your personal page with this stuff, fine, then just share it from your page, your business page. So let's see. Native live. You have to go live natively to Instagram, except for this one app, Loola.tv. LOOLA.tv allows you to go live to Instagram from your computer. Other than that, you have to go live natively. Now, there is a free version of it. There's a free tier. So free tier, and then everything else is premium. And I think the lowest is it $19 a month?
Yeah, it was the lowest, and but that was on a yearly basis, so you would have to pay that for the year. But monthly basis, I believe it was like $24.
Okay, something like that.
Yeah,
So, which may not be worth it to you if you're just going live on
right,
Instagram. And the other thing is that I don't know whether or not it allows you to go live simultaneously to many platforms. Probably with the higher tiers, but not
right,
with the lower tier.
right,
And
right.
not with the free, definitely. So if you want to go live, the nice thing about the setup, because I've done it before, you could go live through there. It connects to your Instagram, and all of the comments are on the right hand. So for you, this is right, guys, but the right hand side of the page. And so you don't have to like look up and down or look really hard into a small,
Hmm.
tiny phone screen. So that's a nice feature to it. So you could go live from your laptop live. So that's IG. So finally, we have Periscope/Twitter, and that's the last thing we're going to talk about today. And so to Gail's point, when we're talking about a Periscope and Twitter, here's the thing: Twitter has largely ignored Periscope now. So even though Kayvon is the person who was, the founder of Periscope, got acquired by Twitter in 2015, and they were strong in doing things at first, but I think Twitter just has not paid as much attention as they could to it, and you see this in the numbers. So I just looked up these numbers, and they're the same as when I looked them up 4 years ago. 10 million people on the platform, 1.9 million daily active users. That's not a lot.
Wow.
Yes. Wow. It's down. So they've always been at this 10 million registered users thing, but the daily active users was a lot higher in Periscope's heyday, a lot higher in their heyday. So now, if we're talking about who is the audience here, we talked to Curtis and I talked about this yesterday.
Yes.
It's mixed, right?
Yeah,
there's a mixed audience. You've got everybody from like millennials and Gen Z all the way up, right? So, well, maybe not the silent generation, but you've got all the way up. So there's a range of different ages here. But daily active users is 1.9. So this is what I say about that. This works well. A pro is it works well if you've already cultivated your tribe on Periscope. So you've been there since the beginning, for example, like I have. I've already cultivated a following and a tribe there that knows to expect me there every Wednesday. So yes, it makes sense for me to keep doing it and keep being on it because I'm there. And let me say hey to Dominique Hart on Periscope. Yay, speaking of it. You said those were all trolls, Levi. Probably damn so. But the point is they're trolls that count. That's all that matters. And that's another downside, that there is a lot of trolling on Periscope because, there's a lack of control over it. They basically put it to the wayside, but there's a group of dedicated users on Periscope. So in terms of starting on Periscope now, it really depends. If you're looking for another platform to get your message out to and you're wanting to build, then that's fine. But it works best for people who already are there, already have a dedicated tribe, and already have people that are going to come there and watch. Because remember, Periscope is an app that you have to download. If I have to download it to watch you and I'm not already there, probably not.
Right. I think also too, it's important, kind of going back to what Gil's question was in regards to just having Periscope and then her Facebook content on her Facebook or and then her Periscope. I think you kind of actually mentioned it earlier, is that it's one of those things where I think that when you're doing a live stream and you're speaking to just varying audiences at the same time, or if you're doing like you're using like a CDN, something that we're using right now, and you're streaming to multiple platforms, is that you've got
explain
to
CDN. Don't just be throwing terminology out there for people who don't know.
Okay, CDN is the acronym for Content Delivery Network, and so essentially what that means is that you're going to use a code or stream key, place that stream key within that service or that platform. Typically, they're going to be it's going to be web-based, so you're going to place that stream key into that platform on on the internet. And then once you place that stream key in there, along with some other information, it's going to give you the option to select the different platforms that you would like to stream to. And so with that one stream key, that platform or that CDN, again, the content delivery network, they will stream your live stream out to those different platforms with one stream key. So
one to many.
Yeah, exactly. So we use it for the sense of one, it helps to get that content out there, but then it lessens the use of your CPU if you're using any kind of live streaming software.
And CPU is the central processing unit.
Correct.
for your computer, which is all the memory is. It uses look, live streaming, if you're using your computer, uses a lot of resources. That's too technical. We won't go into that today, but we'll go into that in a little while. So here's the thing. Another thing about Periscope is there are other competing platforms.
Yeah,
there are so many other competing platforms. We've not even talked yet about TikTok or any of these other things. So there are other competing platforms. So, and Periscope just has not evolved technically as much as some of these others have.
Well, one of the things I liked about Periscope is that, and I haven't seen this on Facebook at least, is that they do have an option for a moderator.
True. Because there's so many trolls. That's why the hell you have to have a
But again,
moderator.
I don't know how well that works or if people are actually using it. So if you are doing a consistent live stream over on Periscope and you have those followers, those people are just that are there each and every time you do a live stream, you can select them to become a moderator.
Absolutely. And they've got the cool call-in feature. So
yes,
I think
absolutely.
It's gotten stable by now. So there's a call-in feature on Periscope that you could use if, say, you want to do something that's like a live radio show or whatever, a live show with call-ins. Viewers can actually call in. You can, at your discretion, allow them in, and you can have good conversations. Now, I've seen where the tool has been used wonderfully, and I've seen where the tool has just kind of been used like they're just having a conversation on the phone. So I can't tell you that's not what to do, but if you're trying to do a proper live stream, that's not what to do. Okay. That's not what to do. That's not what it's made for. If you have that type of stream where you're doing that, but if you're really trying to have a serious live stream or a live stream that talks about things, please have people that are going to talk about substance. You know what I'm saying? So that type of thing. Like, for example, my Mediascope family, I know I could have any one of them in and it would be great. Because they're so knowledgeable, right? And even the ones who don't know necessarily, they have great commentary, right? Great comments to say, which is fantastic. And look who's here. West Hill, welcome on the Periscope side. So good to see you. Let me because we haven't reintroduced ourselves. If you are just joining, welcome. And we're live. I have to do it with Bob Fosse hands. This is the show where we talk about everything from video content creators, from live to video on demand, in terms of the technology, in terms of setting yourself up for it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I am Tachi, and I'm joined with
Curtis. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. And Devin35, hey, and the Pain Paradise, welcome. Thank you for being here on the Periscope side. So welcome to everybody on Facebook, LinkedIn Live, and Periscope. Periscope need to rebrand and say Periscope Live, and then start to work on some stuff. You're welcome, Periscope.
Before we move on, I started to answer Gail's question.
Go ahead.
You kind of alluded to it earlier, or you mentioned it in regards to the code switching, and she was talking about speaking or doing a live stream for her Periscope audience and then to her Facebook audience, and that even though the content you may deliver the content a certain way, or on Facebook, and if you have if you're speaking to people that you're friends with on your personal page, I think sometimes the challenge is that if we're trying to do a business, we are going to deliver that message a certain way. True. And when we're trying to connect with our friends, we're speaking to them yet in a different way. And our friends don't know that person that is coming from that business perspective, if you will, or that business language or lingo that we're using to connect with those people who are familiar with that product or that service that we're talking about or we're trying to sell.
Right.
But now you got your friends who are like, who are just not accustomed to you coming from that space. And I think that
Right.
we've got to, the challenge is that we've got to make sure that we're including them in that message, if you will, as you're delivering it, sharing that content. And so you've got to do some kind of code switching and, right there on the spot, if you will. So make sure you're including them and maybe referencing previous conversations you've had with certain people who are watching and get them engaged in that discussion.
Absolutely. The key is the key is engagement. So a couple of different things you could do. One, if you want to keep it on the same stream, like Curtis said, make sure that whatever it is you're talking about business-wise or technically that may not resonate with the people on your personal page, explain it out so that everybody can be on the same page and can enjoy. Two, make sure that you are lively. Make sure that you are personable, just like you could still have a lively business persona, right? So as long as you're lively and personable and people can resonate with your content, people will watch it. It's often about the personality. I could be talking about nuclear physics right now. There's a guy who talks all about the brain, but because he's lively and has great information, people watch him, right? So it's about the personality too. Number three, the other thing you could decide to do is like, I have two different messages. I do want this on my personal page, and I also want this on my business page, but I really have two separate messages. You may need to do two separate streams. I know that's more work, but that in order to capture the audiences that you want to capture, that may be what you have to do. So those are three things and three options you can think about in terms of it. There's no one right or wrong answer. It's what will resonate, and what has to happen is you have to try it and see what works. And if you notice that it's not working one way, switch to the other way.
And I think the other question too, is that you have to really kind of just ask yourself, am I really are you getting what you're looking for by sharing that content with your friends? Not that there's an issue with that, but are your friends responding? Are your friends going to be the ones who are going to buy from you?
They damn well better, but that may not.
I think that's just a question we have to ask ourselves, because sometimes our friends they can't connect with us in that space, if you will, because they know us a certain way, and this is the person I used to hang out with, and now she's trying to sell me something.
Well, exactly. Some people just don't like to be sold to. Some people don't want to be told about your event. Some people, okay, we've all seen this, right? You post something of seriousness on your page, right? And you get two people liking it. The moment you post some newfangled foolishness, 700 people like and share and make comments. And so from things like that, that's how you know who you can market that type of thing.
Absolutely.
So you just may need to keep the two separate. That's another fourth option, right? Keep the things separate. If this is not an audience who knows you as such from your business page, then you just may need to keep it separate. And that doesn't mean you cannot post about it. Every once in a while, do something like share. Give them the option. Hey, come on, you don't force. Don't force. Share it. If they're interested, this is what's going to happen. They'll pop over to your business page and engage. You don't have to force it. And it doesn't work when you force it. Just say, hey, Pure Silk, welcome. Thank you for being here on the Periscope side.
Natalie Crew over
and Natalie Crew.
Yeah.
Natalie Crew, hey, I was trying to say hey to you before, but I wrote you a message. Natalie says people need to analyze where our target audience is or figure out where you can cultivate that audience. Yes.
Right.
Like they do in poetry ciphers. Yes.
Right.
Snap your fingers.
And we just, I guess we have to be honest with ourselves, because in most cases, it's sad to say, but it's the reality. Some of our friends are just not going to be happy with what you're doing. They're not going to connect with it.
Well, then those are not the people you need to have around, and that's a whole other conversation.
It truly is, but that's the reality, though.
It is the reality, but again, then that's another thing that you need to look at, right? Is the circle that you are around are they going to, not only will this resonate with them, but are they going to be in support and happy for you when these things, you have to look at that. If they're not, then they're not the type of people they need to be just once a year Facebook, hey, happy birthday, and that's about it, right?
Yeah.
What is that saying that always goes? If you hang around the ground with chickens, you cannot soar with the eagles.
Absolutely. I mean, when you roll up in that Mary Kay pink Cadillac, they may not.
Do they still do that?
I don't know. Maybe it's the Lexus
That was
nowadays,
such a 1984 reference. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Pure Silks 23 said there will be haters. Oh, of course. That's how you know you're doing things right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. There always be haters. So, but you can't be worried about them. They're worried while they're worrying about you and what you're doing, you're succeeding and getting ahead. Who has the time to sit there and worry about that?
Right.
Don't even worry. And I know it's very easy to say, and it's hard it's hard. But this is why don't read the comment when you get to be big time. Don't read the comment at the bottom of things, because sometimes it's just ignorant nonsense. Sometimes there are people that have really good, thoughtful commentary. But I found in my experience from looking at other people's content, it could be something that's a great New York Times article. There will always be something, some nonsense at the bottom. Why did I scroll down and read? So sometimes it's just better to remove yourself from all of that. Don't read the comments. So this is a metaphor for all of that. Don't read the comments.
Just do your live stream and go home.
Exactly. And Tish says, yes, you become who you hang around with. Absolutely. And Pure Silk said my cousin received her pink car, so they still do it. All right.
Oh, okay, cool.
And Tish says, yes, I am in MK, and they have she's in Mary Kay. They have 3 different levels of the caddy and 3 other levels of career car. Wow. And hello, Albert Williams. Welcome. Welcome. Hey, Gary Lanham. How are you? Welcome on the Facebook Live side. Natalie Cruz says, spending energy on people who don't rock with you or your project. Negativity is wasted energy. Self-care and protect your energy. Okay. At the end of the day, all of that. Yes. Yes.
Yes, all of that, Natalie. All of that.
All of that, Natalie. All of that. And there will be a time when we do these broadcasts that we'll talk about that aspect of it as well. As we're doing it now. Yeah, it's a huge part of it. It's a huge piece. It's a huge piece. Not everybody is going to be happy, as Curtis said, but as long as you are, that's what matters.
Right.
So let's finishing this off. In terms of getting started, you're like, great. So how do I get started? Watch and sit and listen to what's already being done. Find your niche in terms of where you can fill in knowledge gaps or how you can improve on what is already being done. From there, determine who your audience is for that particular content or that particular message. Who's your primary audience? And then maybe who's your secondary audience? Because the primary and secondary audiences will help in determining what platform. Now, we've already told you the 3, where they skew, right? And who's where. So from just those 3, we're going to cover more next week. Just from those 3, you can say to yourself, now you could do it as an exercise. All right, I want to do a live stream. This is my topic. Out of the 3 they gave today, where is my audience? Is it in all 3 places? Is it just in one place? So that's what you have to determine.
And it's interesting because when you're doing live streams, you really have to come on with some kind of level of enthusiasm. Because I think that it's just about finding your voice, finding not only finding your niche, but finding your voice while you're doing that live stream.
Absolutely. And if it's not enthusiasm in the traditional way, just a passion for whatever it is you're doing, because that will come out.
Yes,
so even if you, because look at Curtis is not, they call him Mr. Enthusiasm on purpose, because he's really not enthusiastic about things. But you can hear there's a level of quiet passion that comes from. He's not like me, that's loud and marionette-like all the time. That's just me.
The quiet storm. Huh?
You are the quiet storm. We are opposites on the excitement scale. Okay, I'm always excited about everything, and he's excited, but he's just like, that is really great. I really like that. Is great. So it's hilarious. Different. It's exactly. It's hilarious. So whereas I'm like laughing and falling on the floor out of the the frame. So you don't have to. Everybody is different, but
Right.
if you are passionate and have enthusiasm about something, it will come through regardless of what your demeanor is like.
Sure.
Vivek said Chocolate Thunder 22. Yeah, exactly. See, that's a joke.
Not here. Not here.
Not here. Not so. Gary Lanham says agrees with us. It says totally. Also says no, like, and trust. Yes, that's Gary's big thing. The no, like, and trust factor. Absolutely. And Anthony Davis is here and said, yes, most of what I deal with, I've learned not to read the comments. Most of them aren't constructive anyway. I like being random and versatile because it gets people's attention. If I get people's attention, either good or bad, it's a good thing. And see, that's what works for you. I think it's about also determining what style works for you. So once you watch and look and learn, then you decide what your style is.
Right.
Right? You can't do it the same way Curtis does it. But you can do what Curtis does, right, with your own style and your own inflection. Sure. Anthony also says both of us level each other out, and that's a great thing. Yeah. I mean, I think that's why I like having, for those of you who don't know, Curtis is the producer for my show, Mediascope, and also a co-host. And because he's so like, yeah, what's going on? It works. It works because that's him, but it also gives kind of like a comedic vibe to it because it's like, I'm so all the time, and he's like so not all the time. So it works. And so that's something we'll talk about when we talk about, like, for example, having hosts and selecting a host. And we'll talk about getting guests and that type of thing. So that's something to think about. Put that in your head for homework for down the road. If I want to have a guest, what type of guest works? I'm sure we've all, I'm guest and then host, co-host as well. So I think we've all been in situations where we've tried to start something with some other people and it just wasn't magic. And that's okay.
Absolutely.
That's okay. It was magic with with Curtis and I. MC, sorry. It worked.
Well,
right?
Levi has already blown my cover anyway, so you might as well see.
We're right, Chocolate Thunder 22. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
It's too late for that now.
It's too late. Your cover is blown. So we know who you are anyway.
Right.
Yeah, it's Curtis equals MC Curtis, as if people couldn't figure that out. But that's all we have for today. Do you have anything else you needed to add?
No, it's just been a great show. Great show.
Absolutely. Dominique Hart says me. Oh, wait, you said me to what? I'm sorry. Chocolate Thunder 22? Is that what? Wait. I'm sure that's not what she's saying me to. But fantastic. So if you guys have,
I'm about to say something, but
oh goodness, and see, this is the thing. We can't do this completely seriously because that is not our, hey, the glam artist.
I know, right?
That is not our, even if we try, oh hell no, we can't do this completely seriously. But hopefully you guys got something out of this. We're going to continue to do these things. We're here every Wednesday. Now today, we apologize. It's 5 o'clock. We were late because I had a meeting today. So normally we come on at around 2-ish, but if we come on after, 2-ish. So if we come on after, it's because we had a meeting or something went on. So the interesting thing is we do more than just live stream.
Yeah, maybe we should change our card and make it 2-ish.
We should.
Thursday 2-ish.
Thursday 2-ish. Or sometimes before 5, whatever the case may be.
All right, everybody. It's been a great show.
Yes, thank you all so much for being here, and we will see you next week at 2-ish.
Ciao, everybody.
Cheers.